Hi, welcome back to Air Engine Research, where I'm building a compressed air motor to replace the engine in a vehicle that I have. So, yesterday I was working on my Eccentrics and my milling machine broke down on me, so I didn't get to completely finish it. I do have a friend, though, that was a retired machinist, and I went over to him and asked him if he'd finish drilling a few holes in it for me so I could at least put it together. And then later on, I can always take it back apart. And I have to mill out the outside of this yet to get it to balance. So whenever it spins, that it is balanced. But today, I'm going to go ahead for the first time and start actually putting the engine together. I'm going to have to see if things fit, and I can only do that by actually assembling it, and then I'll have to take it back apart again to do whatever else I need to do. Some of the things that have to be maybe changed, or I'm not sure just what all yet. But the first thing I want to do is I have to have two bearings to hold these things together properly. So I need to put a spacer underneath it, which I will do now. Hopefully everything fits together okay, and then I won't have any problem. If it doesn't work quite right, then I'll end up having to take it back apart for sure. They might be pretty tight. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to enlarge those holes just a bit. I started off, I was hoping to use a threaded rod, a 1/2 inch threaded rod, but I realized later that I cannot have a nut or anything sticking above this plate on the other side over here, because there's only an 1/8 of an inch clearance, not enough room for a nut. And the hole was already a 1/2 inch, so all I could do was either weld it shut, re-drill it, or change it to a 9/16. Well, then I run into that problem that a 9/16 you can't get a threaded rod. No one has them. no one stores and no one stocks them, so I ended up having to use some bolts that are about the right size. On this side, it doesn't matter, because it's just lower. There'll be other bolts here on all four sides with a frame that will actually amount to the engine once it's assembled and working. So for now, I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and enlarge this, because I need to have the double bearing on it in order to make sure that everything fits right below. So I guess I'll turn this off for now, and that'll be my next few minute project. I took my bottom plate, trimmed it out just a little bit, so everything should fit now. So I can put my drive shaft support on it. Come on, get up here a little bit higher. No, that ain't gonna work anyway. So. The rain, you're going to be hearing some clunking on my roof. I'm going to have to stop recording because you won't be able to hear what I'm saying, all that rain. But I'm in the process now. I'm just putting this base plate on it and set a few cylinders on it. So now, I've got some of the Okay, and then the rain stopped, so I was able to go ahead and work on some of these in between. I got my cylinders mounted back on it. I got that base plate put on where it's going to support the bottom of the engine. And I got my push rods in. I got the bearing on the Eccentrics, and I did checking to make sure I've got clearance with the rotation of the eccentric in relation to the cylinders, so they won't hit if they go back and forth with the bearing. So I should be fine there. So the next thing I have to do is measure the height of the bearing support where the bearing rides in. And then make turn down the little support that goes in, with the pin that goes in here, that'll be inside it into the bearing. So while I'm doing that, I guess I'll go ahead and turn this off and see about making the two drive pins that go into the push rods. Well, after a few more hours working in the shop today, I finally got the two push rod bearing pins made. They not too complicated, but it did take me a little while. I'm not good at these things, especially tiny things. I'm more of a bull in the china closet thing. But anyway, I've got those two done now. I'll have to go ahead and take my engine part back apart and see about putting these in where they go. But I have to take it apart in order to put those in. One of the bad things about it, have to do what you have to do. But once I get them in, then let's see, this one goes up on the other side too. So there, once I get them in, then they'll ride around. Supposed to go. Of course, these here will go with them, because this one is for this pin right here, this hole here. That's where this one will go. This one belongs over here in that hole. But that'll probably be worked on tomorrow. So for now, I guess I'll just call it a day. Thanks for checking in, you long-time subscribers. And for any of you new people that have just found my website, if you'd like to follow along and see how things are going, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe and be sure and check the little notification bell so you'll be notified when a new video comes out. So far I've put out 120 videos, and there's going to be quite a few more, and they'll be coming fairly fast once I start putting the engine together. Do a little testing, and by that time I'll be ready to go ahead and pull the engine out of the car and see about making an adapter plate and a coupling that hooks it to the transmission, and we'll see how it goes. But for now, thanks for checking in.